year and a half ago, I bought a brand new house.
11 things people learn way too late.
Reptilians really came into control.
The Traitors in Oath, conveniently they took out.
Oh my god, I just got a new fancy schmancy Mercedes, okay? My Mercedes just, oh my god, I can't even talk. Do you want proof that vaping is bad for you? Let me show you something. You need to share this video. You need to send this to everybody you know. Oh my god. Okay, so my new Mercedes has a HEPA filtration system. Is very similar to like what's in the operating room, which I think is super cool. If you have allergies, this is definitely something you want to add onto your Mercedes. Okay, it literally takes the outside air. Right now the outside air isn't coming in, but if it is coming in, it will take it and put it through these HEPA filters. Well, it shows right now the outside air is 8, which it's pretty good here in Fort Worth. The inside is a 1. Okay, that means it's already better than it was outside. Do you want to see what happens? This was accidental. I was on the screen. Kevin took a little puffy puff of a vape and he blew it down into the floorboard. Watch what happens. So Kevin's gonna puff of his vape and he's gonna just blow it down into the floorboard like he did naturally last time. Okay, so he puffed it out. Watch this. Watch this. Look what's happening. Oh my god. 693? Unhealthy? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Bro, they told us vaping was supposed to be healthier. What happens if it's cigarette smoke? Does it go up just as high? Never mind. Never mind. Welcome back to watching Explore the Weird. I got a Mercedes as mine. I need to go check mine. All right, we're going to keep it going. Make sure you interact with the video. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy, pal.
Yeah. Let's go to the mountain. Yeah.
I've been finally given permission to discuss the work that I do on a contractor basis with a government agency regarding the investigation, research, and development of what's called a temporal adjudicator. I'm putting some of the schematics up, and this is an incredibly rare and interesting picture of the portal that is created by the adjudicator. Basically, the adjudicator not only allows someone to move through time in actually a very limited sense. You can't go incredibly far into the future and you can't go very, very far back either way, but you can go essentially a few years in either direction. They're allowing this to happen, especially on the social media platform, not on anything that is sort of mainstream in terms of media outlets, because, well, they really have a policy, whether it's UAPs and aliens or something like temporal adjudicator, of telling the truth. And what they bank on, what they completely expect, is that it will be dismissed, ridiculed, marginalized, ignored, and they still then have the moral stance that they have told the truth, and you guys just didn't believe it. So that's why I'm not going to spend any time trying to convince anybody of its veracity. I'm just telling you about my experience. So here's me going through it. And what's interesting about it is not only can it go forward and backwards in time a few years, it can actually go anywhere in your current timeline in terms of location. So it basically eliminates the need for trains, planes, and automobiles. You can basically go to, this beach in the Maldives, anywhere you want to go. It's simply an adjustment on the adjudicator technology that allows you to go. I mean, that's actually how the technology first got developed, was trying to just simply create a technology that allowed essentially like a Star Trek beam me up Scotty, transferring someone from one place to another. It was then later found that through basically the synchronization of certain wavelengths on the adjudicator, that you could affect a movement away or beyond one's timeline or backwards. So this actually, though, in terms of this speech here, I think it's just a side interesting issue. I want to point out that this is a time that in the next 2 years, 2026, where the two suns, see how the sun's really weird lately in 2024 now? Well, guess what, people? That's just the beginning of of what's going to happen with the sky, the sun, the stars, the space. Let's just put it that way. And two suns by 2026 is completely known, accepted, and not even a weird thing. The truth of it, there is, it's a better shot of it, although it's still overcast in this shot. I need to get a better shot, and I will. But this is an example of it. So just as a people that are going to say, hey, tell me about the lottery tickets or who wins the World Series or stuff like this, I can tell you this, that is something that people, they can't hide that for long, and they don't. This is actually, you should go back, if anyone wants to do a freeze frame on, this is in LA, this is a museum, and I'm going to actually let the thing play in a second at the end. But here's me putting in, for the 5100, and it's an old IBM legacy machine. John Titor has first mentioned this in terms of a time travel technology. And this is actually loosely based on the Titor model, but this is a bit different. But there I am creating a portal by just putting in the right circuit board into the 5100. Doesn't even need to be plugged in because it has what's called a latency charge. But this is, I'll show, I go through this, and this is another example of a little bit of a different portal than the first one that you saw. But nonetheless, this one is completely effective and basically shows the space-time distortion that's created. Now, once you go through the portal, everything sort of regulates, and you're able to see things in the normal sense. But if you look back, this is, the portal will remain for approximately an hour, sometimes even two, depending on the charge, the latency charge of the 5100 that you're using as your primary temporal adjudicator. But if you look around, it starts to collapse, and when you see collapse, you got to go. Here's a little funny little bit, though. You got to hear this.
I was assigned to record anomalies and find other wanderers not resetting correctly. Eventually, it was discovered that I was leaking my videos to the app TikTok. Although there was no way for admins to stop me, this was eventually put to an end with the ban of TikTok in the year 2025.
Bro, TikTok is where goons are waking up, and that's how we're gonna awaken everyone else. Where are the 100 monkeys? All right, quite interesting. Is this portal thing real? Are we really in a place that we can generate portals? Man, there was a lot to take in, and then he said two suns. I recently heard about the two suns, but now I'm like, I don't know. Is the sun really have a sister sun? It could. I mean, we have a sister galaxy. We just found. We're gonna keep it going.
Pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
Okay. There was a lot. You already know.
Willing to bet my left hand that this video right here could change your life if you serious. On God, keep watching. Pick any career you want in the world, you can get that shit done for free. Cybersecurity, cosmetology. You want to know how to draw something? Bro, you can literally be an electrician, graphic designer, videographer, photographer, video editing, real estate, whatever you want to do. You feel what I'm saying? Whatever you want to know how to do, bro, they got courses on here for free. You don't got to go to college. You don't got to go to school. You just got to put in the motherfucking work. When it's all said and done, this shit right here gonna help you elevate your income for the free. Don't say I ain't never gave y'all nothing.
Good to know. If you guys looking to increase your educational powers, this is how you do it, I guess. It's free.
This is proof that nobody ever went to the moon. Here we go again. To travel to the moon, astronauts would have had to pass through the Van Allen belts. Correct. The Van Allen belt is a zone of charged particles around Earth. Yep. Well, the Van Allen belt can get up to 20,000 degrees Kelvin, which is like 35,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, sure, particles in the belt could reach that high, but the entire belt wouldn't necessarily be that temperature. The Apollo spacecraft was protected by aluminum, which has a melting point of less than 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, so if it went to the moon, it would have literally melted on the way there. Well, it depends on where in the spacecraft. The heat shield was very complex with many layers and many different materials, so this wasn't just aluminum foil wrapped around the spacecraft. So, space is still pretty much a vacuum, so even though some particles might reach an energy, a heat of 20,000 Kelvin, and that is the extreme for the belt, there aren't actually a ton of particles. What I'm saying is, while these tiny particles might be very hot, the spacecraft did not encounter them all that often. But it still traveled through those temperatures. Not really. Again, you're using the really bad extremes. And also, the Van Allen belt is a belt. You can go around the really bad parts. This is the path the Apollo astronauts took, so while they did still go through it, they avoided the really bad parts, and they were going extremely fast, so they were there for like an hour. And what about the radiation? You're saying those astronauts were totally fine?
Goons, is this debunked? Did this lady debunk it? Is space real?
Why you shouldn't be pork, just listen.
This is the game. The game is real simple. Parasites that live in the body have a hierarchy, okay? Sugar parasites eat last because they're lowest on the totem pole. They're yeast, mold, fungus, and candida, just like a person. Remember, what do you eat first at the table? You eat and drink. You eat dead carcass and drink blood. You eat your meat first. Yes, you do. It's the first thing you want on that table. Let's say you haven't eaten in a couple of days, you're fasting, and you put a smorgasbord out there of food. You got sweet stuff, you got cakes, ice cream, you got maybe soups, you got chicken, fish, you got everything out there that you can imagine on a smorgasbord, a variety of food. And remember, the experiment is, okay, let's see what parasite feeds first. And I know which one will feed first. The ones that eat meat. They are the highest on the totem pole in the body, or the hierarchy of mind-controlling parasites. They need to be fed. Look at these guys. They're eating every bone, everything, and they've got all this beautiful stuff sitting here, and I want it. Okay? And you guys don't even know what that is. Okay? Never even had fish. They've had, I threw a rat in there one time, and they ate it. It was a dead rat they got off of a rat trap, and I just threw it in there just to see what they would do. They're pigs. They rolled in it and they ate it and fought over this nasty with maggots in it. And I just threw it in there. I figured, they'll just smell it just because it's an experiment. Remember, pigs, if you're eating pig, guys, I can just tell you this. You're making a big mistake. Remember, the pig is the dirtiest animal.
This is interesting. Do what your religion says to do. Or don't, just do what you feel. Religion didn't even need to be entered. What are you saying? We're going to keep it going.
Left wing, right wing. It's all the same bird. The people at the top, it's a very small group of people. They, in some way, don't want to see everyone on the same playing field, or at least 1 or 2 levels beneath them. They'd rather keep them 10 levels beneath with a boot on their neck. And it's all about control, and it's all about power. It's all about domination. It's not about money, because money can be printed with zeros and ones that don't even exist. We're talking about the elite oligarchs, less than 100 families that control everything you hear, see, smell, touch, what you can say, what you can't say, where you can go, what invisible line on the planet you can cross, what invisible line you can't cross. Those are the people that dominate and control the banking systems around the entire planet. That one family's worth about $700 trillion. They control a lot of the pharmaceuticals, through the Rockefeller Foundation. Did you say 700 trillion? Yeah. Who's the one family? The Rothschilds are worth $700 trillion. I don't even think there's that much currency in the world. First of all, in the 700 trillion, that's combined assets. It's not just cash. It's assets, land, and everything else. But on the other question, how do how do they control people? Everything is compartmentalized. It's the oldest technique and tactic utilized in the military-industrial complex. To have so many moving pieces, you have to be a real mastermind, and they are, where you have people doing things and jobs and tasks that they don't even know how it connects to something else. They only know they're executing this one small task. And even with that, they have a secrecy agreement, or a gag order, or whatever type of NDA they sign. It lets them know, if you violate this, these are the things that can happen.
They're all in cahoots with each other. There's only one way that we are going to win. We identify and we persevere, and then we eliminate. Never mind. We just need to figure out where they are hiding, so that way we can say, hey, stop this. We should all have. We're going to keep it going. Is this a completely normal process that happens to all chicken in order to preserve them? Is this normal? Oh boy, we're gonna have to start raising our own chickens. We're gonna need a farm, a goon farm. We're gonna need to find farmers too.
You guys need to listen to the people that actually operate this equipment, that are on ships, that understand trajectory and ballistics and bullet drop. Also a correction, the tungsten projectile that is fired from a railgun weighs 3/4 of a pound. 3/4 of a pound and travels 17,000 feet per second. It is mounted on a destroyer, typically 80 feet above the ocean surface, right? The top of the ocean. And it only requires a 1.69 degree barrel elevation to hit a target 100 miles away. If you read the description in the original video, all of the calculations are provided. It was done by AI, and AI could not calculate 8 inches per mile squared and relate that to bullet drop. When the tungsten projectile reaches the target 100 miles away, the projectile is actually 34 feet higher from where it was fired. And if you look at a curvature calculator at 100 miles at 8 inches per mile squared using spherical trigonometry, if we live on a magical spinning water ball, then at 8 inches per mile squared at 100 miles, you're looking at 6,600 feet of drop. Are you guys telling me that this projectile fired at 100 miles is going to arc and drop 6,600 feet from the ship from which it was fired? I can't help you. We try, but I just feel like this is our club and you ain't in it.
It's a ship, right? It's gonna always be on top of the water and flat. I mean, wait, then again, the round. Oh. I'm spiraling. We're gonna keep it going.
Hey, friend. 60-day-old lady.
60 days old. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna put my zipper back.
Hey, those things?
After 60 days, still fresh.
Wow.
Double this. What you do, you cut the bottom slice this much.
Okay.
Okay? Then what you do, any kind of drinking liquor, if you don't have any liquor, use the water, okay?
Okay, I don't drink, but okay.
Alcohol keeps not rotting out. Then you stick right there like that.
Okay.
And on the veggie bag.
Okay.
You put my homemade zipper like that.
Okay.
Then seal it.
Wow.
60 days.
60?
Thank you, Grandma. You're the best.
Bro, we don't need a peel. We don't need Black Resin. We just need this guy and his alcohol and a plastic bag. That was such a cool way to close the bag. I gotta figure out how I can reuse my water bottles and do the same thing, I guess.
What's your doctor not telling you about food?
Pretty much not telling you everything. Doctors don't get any nutrition education or such a small amount. I teach nutrition to Stanford med students. I get 4 sessions their entire career. And each session is 20 minutes of lecture and a whole bunch of time doing case studies. I get 80 with the Stanford medical school class in all the years they're there.
So I asked you, what are people's doctors not telling them about food? And the answer is everything.
Yes.
Bro, they're not teaching them enough because they don't need to. They don't want to. They're trying to keep us down. This guy trying to help. But they like, nah, you only get 80 minutes. That's so sad. That's so sad.
To all my American followers, when your candies come over here, the ingredients get slapped a big warning label. Warning, E102, E10 may have adverse effects on activity and attention in children. Contains genetically modified ingredients. See? This big warning label thing slapped over all of your candy. So you guys can see, look. All of these candies have the same warnings, the same stickers get put over when they reach the UK. See? See? Look. all these chemicals. So please, if you are giving your kids any of these things, avoid them.
Wait, so are people still buying the things even though they have the label? Is it like that Prop 65 label that California puts on everything? It's like, hey, this product may contain chemicals that have been known to cause birth defects. Sorry. Yeah, interesting. I mean, people still buy that. They add labels on cigarettes that are like, hey, look at all the things that they do to your lungs and throat, and people still buy cigarettes. So, I don't know how do you stop this. We need. Sorry, we're gonna keep it going. By the way, if you're still watching, did you interact? Come on. We try so hard. All the goons are in this, and you're the one that's keeping us down. Don't be that guy, pal. Don't be that guy. Be a goon.
Traitors in the oath, conveniently they took out the last bit of the oath, where he said, if a medic is not an astrologer, he's not worthy to be called a medic. Here's another reason why astrology is so important. The moon. The moon is a monthly cycle. The female has a monthly cycle. It's called the menstruation cycle. It's known that when the moon is in a sign, that moon is stimulated in the blood. For instance, when the moon is going through Leo, the blood is now, it's agitated, it's moving. So if a surgeon has you down for a heart surgery on Monday and the moon is transiting Leo, you'll find that there'll be bleeding complications. Yeah, you want the moon to be in the next sign or a couple of signs down, not in Leo. If you're going to do brain surgery and the moon's transiting Aries, probably bleed to death. This is why there are many accidents, and doctors are the third cause of death in the world. Just go to Wikipedia, it'll tell you. Doctors, third highest cause leading of death. Doctors. That's why. I'm telling you. They're on the operating theatre, they're operating the kidneys when the moon is in Libra. And, oh, sorry, you bled to death. Oh.
This is crazy. I didn't know moons and operations were related. At the same time, the moonstration stuff we recently learned about. Interesting.
Reptilians really came into control and started to be able to manipulate what was going on the face of the planet about 6,000 to 7,000 years ago. It is true that they have different masking technologies to be able to be in a room and look like a human, but usually they're in underground bases in various places on the globe, as well as in a huge area in Antarctica. The southeast region has a large number of underground caverns that are kept extremely warm, too warm for humans, by geothermal heat. It's a perfect place for all of these colonies that the reptilians have. They're basically cities, huge cities with millions of them.
There it is. Now you know. I also recently seen a video where, like, yeah, you can find out if someone's an alien. Just go behind them and think really hard. I know you're an alien, and then boom, see if they react. Now I wonder if I can do the same thing with reptilians, because they can also read minds, right? They're from the Hollow Earth. They can read minds, right? Oh boy. You let me spiral. Just keep watching.
When they first introduced sunglasses, it started triggering a massive increase of cancers. It has everything to do with cancer. You are filtering out certain rays of the sun, which is supposed to enter. You're blocking them out. And the pineal gland, which receives the light in a different color formation, that means the entire spectrum of light. It is necessary for the body to have that light, the basic metabolic processes. Also, you have to allow UV light to come in. When you do that, you are producing a hormone in the brain that is responsible for the melanin production in your skin. So that's where your skin protection occurs. If you are not producing that, your skin becomes susceptible to even sunlight. Let's say you wear sunshades. The body thinks it's dark outside.
Okay.
And it doesn't make that hormone that is responsible for producing the melanin to protect your skin. The light is needed. Every cell communicates with every other cell through light. Our cells require sunlight to grow, reproduce themselves, so that you have a new body constantly created over and over and over again.
Yo, that's crazy. We're like plants. We need the sunlight to grow. Man, it's so hard for me to go outside without sunglasses on because it just feels like overly bright. So what do I need to do? Keep wearing sunglasses? No, he said don't. We're gonna keep it going.
Why do you think that moving out of your family's house is a PsyOp?
Consider this. If you have 10 members of a family, and they all scatter to the four winds, where they at least a half hour apart from each other, or more, 2 hours apart, states apart, and they will not see each other anymore. And they're going to pay 10 different sets of rent, 10 different sets of utilities, 10 different sets of groceries, 10 different sets of everything. Then what are they going to do? They will live alone in these apartments or in these small structures. They will desperately crave connection with strangers. They will spend tons of money on escapist entertainment. The research actually shows the average American spends about 5 years of their life on escapist entertainment now. And that was before COVID. We need to actually update that information for after COVID now. But the average person, their depression is off the charts. They are crushingly lonely.
That is crazy. They built these systems to keep us apart, to make sure that we don't group together and figure it out and awaken everyone else. But we know we are the goons. Stick with your families. It's actually better. You save so much money. You save so much money.
That teaches you about artificial ingredients. Comment real and I'll send you the link to the ebook. What he's saying is facts. Take these things and apply them. Follow me for more.
I liked all 11 things. Now we know. Now we don't need to be too late. Now we know early so we can use this proactively. All 11 things.
Medical doctors are trained in allopathic reductionism. And allopathic reductionism has no time, no concern, no appreciation for anything other than drugs or surgery. This is a very important thing to understand, right? Medicine is like a big pizza, and there are different slices of the pizza. The slice of the pie of medicine that the MDs are trained in has no time, no respect, no appreciation, and no concern for anything other than drugs and surgery. And there's nothing wrong with drugs and surgery when they're used appropriately. Again, right, thank God for Novocaine and morphine and the sterile technique and penicillin. But MDs are not taught anything other than their piece of the pie because the pharmaceutical industry has leverage over what the MDs are taught. Also, the pharmaceutical industry has leverage over what type of research is done at universities in the United States. It's not medical research that's done. It's pharmaceutical research. Is any research being done about homeopathic medicines or botanical medicines or the use of acupuncture or the use of medical nutrition? No, none of that's being done. It's all about inventing a new drug or a new gene splice or something else. It's all filling in the piece of the pie of science that the MDs are trained in. You know, it's kind of like you wouldn't expect a Republican in the United States to give you advice about a social program. Nor would you expect a Democrat to give you advice about war funding, military funding, because it's not really their thing, right? You wouldn't expect a Buddhist to tell you about Judaism, and you wouldn't expect a Roman Catholic to tell you about reincarnation, because it's just not their thing. Well, medical doctors are not trained in medical science. Nobody is. Medical doctors are trained in allopathic reductionism. And allopathic reductionism has no time, no concern, no appreciation for anything other than drugs or surgery. That's the short answer.
Bro, that short answer makes it seem like it's not the doctor's fault entirely. It's the systems that were placed around the doctors and the pharmaceutical companies that are pressuring them, fear-mongering them. Basically making it seem like this is the only solution. There's nothing else. Don't look at the natural stuff. Just look at this stuff. Just focus on this. Just do the research on this. Just figure out the next this. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, we're going to do just one more. Attend them all.
About a year and a half ago, I bought a brand new house. And little did I know how it would ruin my life. I have been poisoned by my house. My story is so crazy.
Home builders unfortunately do not build homes like they used to. And in this lady's situation, the builder clearly cut corners and did not put the wrap underneath the siding, which prevents moisture from getting to the wood and inside of the property. And now she has mold throughout the entire house, and it's making her and her family very sick. If you plan to buy a new build home, do yourself a favor and have a home inspector monitor every facet of the process. And I'm talking from when the foundation is laid and the concrete all the way to when the siding is put on and the 2x4s behind the walls are put up, like every part of the process. Because once that sheetrock's on the wall and once the siding's on the outside of the house, there's really no telling what's going on behind that. And if you're someone who isn't purchasing a new build and you're buying an existing sale, do yourself a favor and get a mold air quality test. My wife and I got a mold air quality test when we purchased our home last year, and it uncovered roughly $30,000 in mold remediation that needed to be done to the property, which we were able to have the seller cover because it was an issue that we uncovered. The more you know.
Oh, that's crazy. I know mold has been, linked with so many potential symptoms that aren't really related to diseases and are actually caused by mold. So if there is mold issues, figure it out. And this is so sad. You buy a new home and you get mold issues. Imagine that, just because they didn't wrap the house in that house wrap. I mean, come on. It's like wrapping a present. How did they not know? Are you not a builder? Check your builders. Use the home inspectors. Use the town inspectors that go in and give that certificate of occupancy, so that way, never mind. All right, you made it to the end. How'd you do? A lot of videos related to like health, air, literally breathing, literally all the things. Quite interesting. Hopefully there are videos on the screen right now. Click on either one of them. Continue your goon fix. The one in the middle, you can subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Wake up.